What is up, bros? Be Josh here. In today's video, we're going over a recap of Season 9 of Ranked Battles in World of Warships, and Season 9 is going to be forever the most Season 9 season in Ranked Battles. What I mean by that, it is probably going to go down as being one of the it was worth a try, but I don't think it quite worked out seasons in Ranked. I think, one, I give props to Wargaming for trying something different. What I mean by that is trying tier 10s. Now, we have seen tier 10s in ranked battles, but only in like the rank 1 and up league where you go in, you can get some extra stuff. We've never really seen tier 10s. We haven't seen tier 10s as an actual part of the actual season. And if you played this season, you know that I think it's 23 all the way up to rank 11, 10 right there. You'll do tier 8, and then 10 and under is rank or tier 10s. So it's the first time we've ever seen this, and I give props to Wargaming for trying something different. In the past, we've seen everything all the way from tier 5 all the way up to tier 8, so we haven't really seen anything higher than that. And I think it was worth to give it a try. Do I think it was a success? Not really. If you always want to see, I did a quick little video on the pros and cons of it, and it basically still stands. The pros were basically limited to it was something different, and they are fun ships, and there's a lot more cons of this season, as in it basically gets a lot of people that can't actually play past tier 10s. There's several people I knew that had tier 8s, but they couldn't play tier 10s because they didn't have a tier 10 yet. And it's just, we just got done with the clan battles, so going from clan battles playing tier 10 ships all the way up to that, and it's a kind of a boring meta and blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of more cons to tier 10 and quote-unquote high tier play that I think really stood out. And I think this was a good season in general to really look at what is kind of some problems with the ranked season. This is the first time we saw some stuff that was brought back into World of Warships for ranked battles, and that is with rank 10 being irrevocable. I think that was one of the worst changes. There's no kind of filtration for people that are there. This is some of the lowest win rate seasons we've seen. Some of the people into the 30% win rates. I think not quite 30, but like 40s right there. It's some of the lowest win rates we've ever seen. And what that was is basically we were seeing people that got into the rank 10 and then they were stuck there, and there's no way of any kind of filtration to kind of go back, which was there before. With rank 12 being irrevocable, it would still leave some kind of buffer for people to not be stuck. There are these people, I mean, I think there's somebody that has like 1,200 games, but they're still at rank 10. They would finish the season at rank 10 and 0. So that was one of the biggest change. I think this season really highlighted a lot of the problems with Save a Star, and we'll kind of dive into that when we check out what ships finished the best. But every season of ranked battles, I dive in and really talk about what ships were successful, what I saw, and what I hope changes in the future. Wargaming did a pretty cool thing, a bunch of funny gifs and stuff that kind of explain everything for all the types of things going on, so they are pretty funny. This is very true. When you get a team that coordinates and plays well, we've all seen that. And so I'll put a link down below. Wargaming just posted this, but let's dive over to the actual game itself. We'll go over what kind of ships were the best for this, what I at least saw were the best this season, and dive into kind of the plus and minuses of this season 9 of ranked battles. So here we are in game, and you will actually see that this is the end of the 9th season, whatever rank you got, and then next season, whatever you get, you will get that many stars, 1 star per rank. So I think you start at 12 point something going in, or I think it's 13.1 going into next season. So we got rank 1, which was awesome, and not with the Nelson, surprisingly. We got it with the Hindenburg is what we end up finishing on, but this was a very weird season to me of weird metas. Honestly, really, really weird metas and ships that we kind of saw be really successful. Now, again, of course, the meta is going to change a lot as you get up into the higher tiers. What ends up happening is the maps are bigger and bigger and bigger, so you're going to see stuff that is spread farther apart. So ships that do really well at range, like the Hindenburg Zau, are going to be very successful, and a lot of other ships are going to do really well. And we'll kind of dive into what was kind of the most effective ship. Now, this is what I purely saw. I just want to do a little disclaimer. I know there's a little bit of a meta change between North America and EU and other servers, so this is purely what I saw on North American server. So ship popularity, types of things I saw are probably going to be different from server to server, so just keep that in mind. This is from me playing on the North American server. But all in all, this season was a tough one for destroyers, and this is one I had played a lot of gearing, and it's not that I had a bad win rate with gearing. I think I had about a 60-some% win rate with gearing, but this season was the first season we really saw where destroyers had a lot of problems saving stars. Now, I would bust my ass and smoke for cruisers and spot and screen for torps and doing perfect destroyer play, what you want your destroyer, contesting caps, hunting down destroyers, doing all of this. But this was the first season we saw the experience for destroyers and capping affected, and it made playing DDs really, really tough, on top of having stuff like the Yu Yang with radar being more and more popular. This is probably ended up being the strongest destroyer. Stuff like the Des Moines having a minute-long radar, Moskva, the radar Minotaur being very, very successful. This was a tough season to play DDs. It wasn't impossible. There's plenty of people who got rank ones, but I think this was by far the toughest season that you kind of saw a lot of power taken out of destroyers' hands, which isn't a bad thing. But what it ended up making for it was a lot more of a campy game, because you had less and less vision because there was less and less destroyers. So basically what it ended up being is a lot of, I mean, I think the night I ranked out, I played 4 or 5 games in a row where there weren't any destroyers. And it would be kind of weird. You'd get some nights where there's lots of battleships, some nights where there's lots of DDs. But I think there were several games where I played with no DDs because it was just hard to carry. I mean, you would do really well, and I still had a good win rate, but you almost never saved your star, which was a problem. As you get later and later in the season, you're kind of just over that not being able to save, and you worked your ass off, and you're not getting your star that you kind of earn, and it was kind of a tough one. But ships that I saw were really, really successful. I think Radar Yu Yang was extremely good. We saw this thing go crazy in clan battles, and again in ranked season. Really helped your team and could be very, very successful. Just the radar alone was a huge threat. This thing could, if it was relatively close to running radar location, it could outspot you, or it could not. Well, it would outspot you, but it would. Radar you if it knew it was close and get the first couple salvos in. Gearing was again really strong too. Z52 was extremely strong. I think those are probably the top 3s. Shimikaze was okay. I never really wanted a Shimikaze even after the buff. I still didn't really want Shimikaze. It's all about being able to defend yourself, and I thought the Shimikaze was kind of mediocre at that. It still is, although it can out-detect stuff, but it was so much radar. And most people running like 12-kilometer torps, and you're almost within radar range the entire time. I really enjoyed the gearing when I played it, and I think Yu Yang was overall strongest. A good Z52 was very successful too, being able to contest caps, but again, it was a tough season for destroyers. Kaba were Kaba, they were just annoying, not much impact on the game. And then Grozvoy, if there were more CVs in the game, Grozvoy would have been a lot better, but there just really weren't. So I didn't really see too many of these, and not too much was really done with that. But overall, DDs, it's going to be standout with probably Yu Yang, Gearing, Z52 being at the top. Again, kind of what we've seen with clan battles, those being the strongest. Not too surprising there. Jumping over to cruisers, I could have clicked on that separately. So those are work in progress, so don't look at those. So we'll just slide over. I think the top, well, let's just dive out and say, holy hell, out of nowhere, the Minotaur turned into be one hell of a beast for rank battles. And this thing was amazing at doing what its job was, and that was taking out destroyers. The reason why this thing was so strong, 8.9 kilometer detection. If you're running radar module, do I have this still set up as the Minotaur? I do, yeah. 9.9. So if you are detected, something that was within 1 kilometer of your range, so the only thing that's going to out-detect you is a destroyer. So if you spot a destroyer or you are detected, you know it's a DD. You have a kilometer buffer to go against that DD, and you have 40 seconds of reload, which means you can get 1 billion shells out from the Minotaur, and it's most likely a dead destroyer. I think this ship potentially had one of the highest win rates in ranked season. Some of the win rates were absolutely insane for this ship. And what a beast this was. It was the scariest ship I think I could ever gone against when I was playing my destroyer, because if you ran into this, you knew you were taking a massive amount of damage, and there's nothing you could really do about it. So basically the only thing you could do is hightail out of there, take a 10k damage, and then recover. That's about all you could really do. So Minotaur was great. I was wondering how the ship was going to do, and it did very, very well, better than I ever thought it would, and really a beast. And it's become a meme now into a reality. Minotaur doing really, really well. Hindenburg came into being the god tier cruiser that it actually is. This is because I don't have the concealment on, because I was checking out numbers. But this thing became into basically the Save a Star cruiser. This is what I ended up finishing my season in, and it was just a beast to deal with. I would end up running the flank on this. and you would just pump out so much damage. So either I would force the enemy team to either send ships my way to deal with me, or they would have a Hindenburg on their flank with no one to deal with it. Countered by basically only the Zhao. This thing was an absolute beast and continued to probably be one of the best ships this season to save your star, just because it could farm so much damage. And we'll get to saving the star and everything in just a little bit. But Hindenburg was great, especially this is a lot more popular in North America than it is on EU. But still, the Hindenburg is just a god tier cruiser, and was just the ability of this ship to really kind of carry with what its pressure could be is really, really good. Zhao played correctly was amazing. This is the only ship that really countered the Hindenburg, and if played correctly, this thing was great. Being very stealthy, being very Zhao. I mean, this thing was just really, really good too. This is a really good season for cruisers. You have a lot of ships that are just these great damage dealing. The Zhao was able to basically get in and get out. Not quite as a carry ship as the Hindenburg, but the Zhao was very deadly. And could do its role specifically well. If you were running that flank, you could do really well and really challenge a Hindenburg trying to get a little greedy. The Des Moines was great at being that radar ship posting up. We saw a lot of it in the past seasons with like the Chappie and the New Orleans. Those ships that would hold down points and just shut it down. And if you were in a spot where you were within radar range of the Des Moines, and if you ran the radar module, you're rocking. Oh, I don't have the radar module on this. Oh, normally I do, but almost the minute-long radar on the DM with the module. If people have it already, if they play in rank, they probably have one. But just the DPM on the DM is great. Really, really strong season. For the other two, Moskva's, the detections are so high on this ship. It was the biggest downside. Kind of like the Shima to me. The Moskva was like kind of the Shima. Like, I didn't really want it on my team. I thought other ships were better in the role. It's not a bad ship. I just thought if I was going to only have 6 other teammates on it, I didn't want the Moskva to be one of those slots. If a radar ship, I'd rather have the DM or even a Minotaur compared to the Moskva. People were very successful in the Moskva. I just didn't really want it on my team. When you have a detection that's basically the same as a battleship, and if the battleships focus you, you're just absolutely obliterated. It's basically almost impossible to go dark in this ship, which is a downside. You are pretty stealthy, or not stealthy. You are pretty slim, so you can avoid a lot of shots. But if you're focused, you'll just get absolutely burnt down. My Hindenburg, I love destroying these guys. Then when they turn broadside, you just obliterate them because they're a massive flat-walled cruiser on the side. The Henry V, or the fourth Henry V, and the second Henry IV. Was basically the Khabarovsk in cruiser form. So it wasn't specifically good at doing anything other than just harassing the team, getting on that flank, and being an annoyance. Not really a carry ship, but fun to play, and being that kind of trolly, annoying ship. You could have some success with it, but again, just like the Kaba, people played it, but you were never going to go ham on this thing and just save a ton of stars. A good assisting ship like the Kaba, but again, I would have rather had the Zhao, the Hindenburg, anything else other than this. It's probably right there with I'd probably take a Moscow over the Henry, because at least that has radar. But the Henry, again, fun to play in randoms. I don't think it's very strong in anything competitive. Let's roll over to battleships and go over that. Battleships were interesting. I thought the Yamato, again, like in clan battles, the Yamato started to shine, being that lol pen life that the Yamato has. Still not, I don't think, considered the strongest battleship in the game. But when you get into a competitive scene, the Yamato continues to just do well. It just continues to do well because you get people that kind of know what they're doing, and this thing will just hit no matter what, especially when you saw on North America a lot of Hindenburgs. The Yamato basically became like an anti-Hindenburg because you'll just pen it and get 10, 15k salvos, even if they're bow in, bow away. So this thing just does really, really well. The Yamato was super strong. So was the Montana. The Montana was super strong as well. Just continuing to be just a solid battleship. 12 shells going out. 12 shells that are going to hurt like hell. And again, really, really strong. I don't have the Republic, but the Republic also was pretty damn good. I think probably a little bit under these, but high rate of fire, big shells going out, and good speed to kind of get in and get out. I think it was probably under these two, the Yamato and the Montana. But overall, the Republic was probably a solid third. The Conqueror became basically the Hindenburg of the battleships, where if you weren't really trying to The Conqueror, as it is, isn't a carry ship, but it's a do lots of damage ship, and that doesn't really win games all the time, but it was really good at saving stars if you wanted to. So not a very good carry ship. It has one of the worst torpedo belts of all the battleships, and just takes massive damage. I loved farming these in my Hindenburg because what you'd end up doing is if they'd end up just giving broadside, you can just absolutely destroy that upper belt. Right here, the armor belt with the big 203s, and just dunk on these Conquerors. And then a lot of Conquerors didn't really know what they were doing, so they would repair, 1 or 2 fires, and you just burn them down to the ground. Yes, they'd heal that up, but again, your alpha damage for the HE was crazy too. GKs continue to just be GKs. They try their best and forget the rest, and just aren't super strong. Very fun ship in randoms. In anything competitive, it just gets wrecked because it's just not as good as its counterparts. A fun ship to play, though. Don't get me wrong. Again, all these ships I'm talking about that are relatively quote-unquote weak or aren't as good are still great ships. That's the best part about tier 10 is you can be successful in any of these ships. It's just when you get into a 7v7 competitive, as in clan battles or rank battles or whatever, you really want the best you could possibly get. But I'm sure people got rank 1 in using the GK only. I'm 100% sure. CVs were non-existent. It's tier 10. Yeah, that's the part that kind of was kind of funny to me is tier 10 CVs. A percent of a percent maybe on all servers have tier 10. I mean, honestly, there's more and more and more of them. There are, because you're seeing more and more tier 9s, you're seeing more and more tier 10s. There's more and more people that still don't have tier 10s. So there's a lot of people that still don't have tier 10s. And to have tier 10 CVs, it's just a minute percentage. I think in 10 and under, it was over 120 games, something like that. I saw maybe 1 or 2 games of the CV. It was just when they announced 10s, it goes, there's another season without any CV games. CV games are rare enough as it is in ranked battles. It's hard enough. It's just the smallest player base in World of Warships by far, and to get 2 people, especially in the 5 and under queue, which at any given time can have maybe 40, 50 people, maybe. To get two of those to be CV players is super, super rare. They almost have to coordinate it through the forums or through chats or whatever to actually go, hey, I'm going to play CVs. Do you want to play CVs? Sure, let's play against each other. Super, super rare. Not only is the class tiny, the player base for it is tiny, but to tier 10, people who have access, even access to a tier 10, that then want to play ranked battles is even smaller. So a season where we saw little to no CVs. Again, this is North America, so I know there's a lot more CV players on EU, so you guys probably saw a little bit more, and especially on the C server. I know CV is very popular over there. But North America, little to none. It was if CV players had to rank out in something else. But again, pros and cons of this season. 1, tier 10s are fun ships. They really, really are. It was something different. We had seen so many other ships this season that we just really weren't able to play in other ranked seasons. Downside is we just got done playing with all these ships in clan battles, so that in itself is kind of a bummer. I just played the Hindenburg for 200 plus games in clan battles. I got to play another 170 some in ranked battles, so that's always fun. Luckily, I enjoy the ship, and I bought the premium camo, so look at that, almost 2 million XP. But again, it seemed repetitive. The meta, I think, at high tiers is very slow and very boring. At high tiers, it has a very snowball effect. If you lose one ship, I wonder how many teams lost the first ship, ended up losing the game. I'm really interested in that because of it just has such a snowball effect because of how hard everything hits. 2, the DD meta was brutal. The lack of DD meta was brutal. Now, again, if you're playing later into the season, I saw there were more and more destroyer players. So it's just kind of what I saw when I played. It was very tough to play a destroyer because it was just so thankless this season. Even if you bust your ass and played good destroyer play, you got little to nothing in return. So that was brutal. I ended up having to change cruiser. This is the only season I've ever had to switch over to cruiser to actually get done with the season. And really, I think the two major changes that I would like to see is, one, they got to get rid of rank 10 irrevocable. They have to. People are asking for the no irrevocable ranks. I think irrevocable ranks are fine. I think 12 is fine because it does give basically an 8-star buffer. I think it's 8-star at that point. It gives you some kind of buffer. It might be 6-star actually, from 10 to 12. It gives you some kind of buffer to people to not be locked in. I don't like the quote-unquote second most competitive bracket being just stuck with people that maybe had a good run and are just going to drag your team down. I don't want to make that sound elitist, but it is ranked and it is more competitive than, like, let's say random battles. It was a bad move. We've seen it in the past, but there were way less people playing ranked back then. It was kind of it was just different back then. I don't know. Those were the days, I guess, but who knows? But they need to change it back to 12. People are wanting for no irrevocables. I think their irrevocables are fine. People have bad stretches. I get that. People go all the way back to whatever. But locking it at the start of a bracket is a really, really, really bad idea. Really, really bad. 2, the biggest thing is, do we get rid of Save a Star? And I think that for the longest time, I was for Save a Star because on paper, it rewards the person working the hardest. It rewards the person trying their best, trying to win trying to win the game for their team. But in the end, what does it do? It makes you start to play like a Save a Star as soon as let's say you lose the first ship, right? Oh, we lost our one destroyer. I'm just going to start getting ready to Save a Star. People go into these games just planning to get as much experience as possible just in case. So what you would end up seeing is a lot of people going off to, let's say, a cap purely to get the cap XP, even though it would put them in a bad spot and give the other team an advantage of maybe, let's say, a destroyer. You saw that a lot on caps like Mountain Range, where people would go off to the one cap just to get the experience to then come back and support one other cap. So honestly, I would love to see hear your guys' ideas on, should we keep Save a Star or get rid of it? I would really, really like to see. I think I am for getting rid of it because it promotes such what's the right word? Such a bad play style, such a me play style. And I think ranked battles, although it is you and 6 random people, it is this just random competitive mode, I still think it should be a we not me kind of thing. So I would love to see what you guys say down below. Save, keep a star, get rid of it, because I think it really was shown and really highlighted this season about how bad that system actually is, for promoting such a play style that is just super, super selfish. So anyways, was it a success? I think it ended up being. I love ranked play. The ship's difference, the meta difference, that's its own thing. I still enjoy this. Yeah, it's full of salt and you get mad and you want to smash your keyboard, but again, in the end, I enjoy this rank style. It gives you something different to do, and I hope you guys get out there and had some fun. If you got rank 1, congratulations. If it's the first one, hell yeah, congratulations on your Jolly Rancher flag. And if you got your USS Flint, USS Black, the camos for that, whatever you ended up getting, or if you just went out and got the easy flags, getting to rank 12, get out there and whatever you did, congratulations. Hope you guys had some fun. But again, I'm really interested. The main part of this video is I want to hear what you guys think about Save a Star. Get rid of it, keep it. I like it. Let me know. And I know that's a big talking point right now with maybe future rank seasons. But anyways, guys, rank 9 or season 9 of Ranked Battles is in the books. Hope you guys enjoyed the season. Hope you guys got some good success. Hope you guys reached your goals for this season. And anyways, that's going to be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.